Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, jctickets.net, Geico Insurance, Dunaway Furniture, Ocean City Golf Club, RussellStreetReport.com, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Holiday Inn Express, the original Green Turtle, hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome back in. It is the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap Show right here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio 93.5 The Beach. We are broadcasting from the Ravens Room of the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City, home of Ravens Roost 44. Give yourselves a hand.
You're scaring
us.
I love it. That is awesome.
Harry leading the way. And of course, we invite all Ravens fans down to the show just about every Wednesday during the season. Doors open at 5 with food and Bud Light specials. The show starts at 7. Hey, we want to thank our sponsors at the Blue Ox, of course, Bar and Grill right here. The original Green Turtle, our friends at Bud Light, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Geico, the Ocean City Golf Club, jctickets.net, Holiday Inn Express at Northside at Ocean City, Dunaway Furniture, and buyatoyota.com, your official site for Toyota deals. And many of these same sponsors are ones that enable us to give away great prize packages as well throughout the season, including Ravens tickets. So we want to thank them. Of course, a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all across Delmarva watching and listening. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, Ravens Wrap at the Blue Ox, also online at ravenswrap.com. Mike Bradley, we've got J.J. Roth, we've got Bruce Laird, and we've got OC Local, Alex with us as well, all a part of the panel. And guys, as we talked about, just an unbelievable win for the Ravens on Sunday. And we talked about a game that I think certainly we'll remember for the rest of our lives. Some things I just wanted to certainly touch upon is with Joe Flacco in this game. You know, certainly he started out, and it was a rough game for Joe. And I know the weather conditions were not ideal, but there were certainly some very questionable interceptions in the game. And the last one, we admit, Jacoby Jones, certainly that was on him. But Joe Flacco, one of the things that certainly makes him a very quality quarterback, guys, is the fact that he's an all-weather quarterback. In fact, when he tried out with the Ravens on either it was a pro day or a separate individual day, he did it in, I believe, rain conditions. And playing in the AFC North, in Baltimore, in Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, you need to have an all-weather quarterback. And, boy, he came through. He dug himself a hole, but at the end of the day, as we talked about in the earlier segment, he came back, he got the W. And, boy, when his back has been against the wall in the last 3 years, guys, he has come through with flying colors.
Well, there's no question. He is a pro. He gets it. And let's stop talking about his paycheck, okay? The paycheck was earned. He went to took us to 5 playoffs. He won the Super Bowl MVP. It's what it is. That's the business. And we all can sit there and go, it's too much. Well, then don't go to the movies, because look what they're paying those entertainers. And if you think the movies are great entertainment, then, you know, good luck to you too. But it is what it is. He earned his money, and it doesn't matter about his money. It matters that he wins. I don't care about his damn stats. I don't care what he does. All I want him to do is win.
61 wins, by the way, in 5+ seasons. That's, by my math, and I know I work in radio, and so do you, JJ, but I believe that's about 10 wins a year.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
According to Bruce's fingers, you're correct. Okay. And you said it. It is the business.
It's the business.
I don't remember exactly what is. I believe it was Larry Washington, the safety for the Dallas Cowboys. He intercepted a couple passes in the Super Bowl that they won against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he was just an average safety. Right. Well, what happened? Tampa Bay gave him money out the you-know-what because he was a Super Bowl MVP. And, well, he didn't do anything the rest of his career except collect that paycheck. So good for him.
Beautiful thing.
And I can't believe I said this earlier, but it was true. You don't hear about those 3 interceptions because, like all of y'all know, and me saying that again, it only cares about wins. And you guys got the win. That's all that matters. And Joe Flacco, what was it? University of Pittsburgh, then transferred to UD. It was Pittsburgh, correct? He's used to the Northeast, the cold and all that. Yep. Like Mike said, he had the tryout and all that in the rain and all that. Mm-hmm. The weather does not affect the man.
You know, Joe's just going to be Joe. He's going to give you those 5 or 6, and you're going to go, huh? And then don't worry about it, because he's going to come back and make plays. He's just one of those kind of guys. And if you look at enough of them, and they all do it, and you talk to all the great ones. I got a wonderful relationship with John Unitas and Dan Fouts, who I played, guys that could just make plays. And you talk to them about, you know, what's it like to have a bad day? They go, what are you talking about? I said, you know, you just threw 3 picks. What do you want? I want the football. I want the football. I'm just going to continue to go. It will work it out.
Short
and
memory.
That's how they.
Yeah.
That's how they operate. Now, when they stink up the joint, you stink it up. But it's not in their mindset. They just go, give me the ball, and I'm going to make things happen.
Alex, high highs and low lows with Joe, but at the end of the day, W's, and that's all that matters.
W's all that matters. I mean, why are you going to critique somebody on what they're throwing during the game when, in the end, we're getting the W? That's my question.
Do you think it's about fantasy football that everybody's dooled up with this stuff, man?
Ooh.
Do you?
Ooh.
I hit something, JJ?
You hit a big one. I'm going to be
Sorry,
very quick. I have never done fantasy football. I will never do fantasy football. And here is the reason. You guys love your Ravens with all your heart. I love my Washington Redskins with all my heart. I will never root for another player on another team. I don't care how much it was to get in this league and how much I could win. Well, you know what? I want the Redskins to win today, but I really need Aaron Rodgers to throw for 3 touchdowns against me.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
It makes
I will
strange,
never do
it makes
fantasy.
strange bedfellows, yeah.
Never
That's
do it.
certainly
I will never do it.
Yep.
Oh.
You
All
actually,
about the cash.
you're absolutely right. And you hit the nail on the head. I was actually at Joe Flacco's pro day at University of Delaware when he first got drafted. And let me tell you something. It was like any of the locals around here yesterday. It was cold. It was raining. And this guy's out there in short sleeves and shorts. And I'm as a Rays fan, I'm like, really, dude? Like, you're really going to go out there looking like that? And like, let's see what you do. And let me tell you something. He threw some strikes. I mean, he was throwing balls like it was unbelievable. I mean, if you're a football fan, you'd be like, this guy's nuts. Like, why? Like, how can you do this in this type of weather? And right then and there, I said, if the Ravens don't draft him, I'm not going to be a fan anymore. Pretty much.
Well, they ended up trading up 19th pick, and they ended up getting him. And again, that's key based on the division that you play in. I don't know that we can say, we know Ben Roethlisberger is all-weather quarterback. I don't know that we can say that necessarily about Andy Dalton. Of course, the Browns, they've had a carousel of quarterbacks. They still need to pick themselves out one, but that's certainly key. Some other things as well, though, I think certainly we'd love to see Joe be a little bit more even-keeled, but again, at the end of the day, it's the W's, and certainly his resume has plenty of wins. Guys, you know, the run game, and just a couple of quick notes, I'll let you guys comment. The run game, again, not great, but Ray Rice averaged 3.9 yards a carry. That's still an improvement, and they started to wear the Vikings down now. Look, they weren't great necessarily against the rush, and the field conditions weren't ideal, although better in the second half. But, again, I think it is going to be what it's going to be, as Bruce said. But the question is going to be, can they get enough? Can they at least keep the defense honest enough where they can run the play-action passes? Also, defensively, let's switch gears. Did a great job shutting down Adrian Peterson for the most part until he got hurt. Did not do such a great job against Toby Gerhardt. At the end of the game, you wonder, too, with the weather conditions for both defenses, they just wore down, I think. And you know, the field wasn't ideal, but the defense had played a great game up until the end. Then it got interesting.
Then it did get interesting, and quite frankly, I said this on my morning show. If you really looked at the last 2 minutes and 5 seconds, and seriously, now I want you to think about this. It reminded me of the under 30 championship of flag football. Because, I mean, it was a 7-man flag football, by the way. Because that's what it was. I mean, people running free, people not getting in the right spot, and people bouncing off people. It's the nature of the business, but they're going to have to go through that, forget about that, and when they get to Detroit in that dome with Jimmy Schwartz talking to these ruffians and these guys are not nice men in Detroit. This defense is about busting your chops. I want to put my forearm in your face and beat you up. Playing football. Not boxing, not being dirty, playing football. That's how he's got him playing. If that offensive front can't take that intensity, it's going to be a tough day.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the Lions preview coming up in the next segment.
And like that's the big thing with the Lions, obviously Fairley and Ndamukong Suh. It's going to be one thing, but you made the point about the, you know, under 30, 7-on-7 flag football. Here's the question I've had. There is just the technology out there and the helmets and the pads and just everything, the jerseys. I mean, I saw, you know, a guy gets his jersey ripped and they can't even get the thing off him. They actually will stitch it up on the sideline because it's so tight. I've always wondered this, and you being a former player, with everything we have with cleats and all that, you would think that there would be some form where these you players could keep your footing in that situation. Is that just me being not a professional football player, just ignorant kind of a thing?
Well, it's the right shoes. When you go out early, especially defensive backs and position players, you got to have the right footwear. You go out and you look at it. I played mostly on grass, and in the weather conditions, I would change my shoes. Or if I didn't like that, I would change my cleats on my shoes. And the muddier it was so big, I'd go to a 3/4 cleat, because that's what you got to do. You got to understand the conditions, and you got to know. And again, Matt's a young player. You got to understand, in the open field, it's about the tackle. Forget that you're in the SEC or whatever that division is, and you're trying to blow up these people. You're in professional football. When that man's in front of you, you get him down. I don't care if you got to pull his panties down. You got to get him down. You can't be out of control and doing things that the young man's been doing, and he's got to learn it sooner than later.
Well, he had a bad angle, and then he slipped, and I don't know, because
Can't slip.
That's right,
Can't
and that's
slip.
a turf field.
Can't slip.
The weather conditions, and we got 60 seconds. The weather conditions changed. It snowed in the first half. The field crew did a great job of clearing it at halftime, but then it sleeted. And again, I played on grass. I've not played on turf like that, so I don't know. But you're right. At the end of the day, it's about adjustments with the footing. But I don't know. It's not ideal, though. I don't know. Is there a perfect answer to that? But
No,
he'll learn from
ideal,
it, though.
but it's the same for everybody, and you got to know that you got to pitter patter a little bit more. You can't get wide. You just got to understand where
you got to
are
adjust yourself
and what you're doing. And when you see that, you got to come in from the inside out, and just sit there and squeeze and get there. And when he's so out of control, he pirouettes, and when he pirouettes, he's lost.
Alex, under 30 seconds, final thoughts on
No,
this?
I agree with you. I mean, the technology with these fields today is unreal. I mean, these AstroTurf, or I guess Sport Turf fields, what they're calling it, I mean, that you can wear cleats on. I mean, with these new fields, I've actually played on fields like this before. I played college lacrosse, and I was like, you know what, this thing, you got to have this, believe it or not, even in that weather, you got to have the cleats to have
absolutely.
the right equipment. If you don't have the right equipment, you're not going to make tackles. I mean, let's be real. I mean, if you don't have the right stuff on the entire thing, Bruce, as a safety, you know this, how can you make the adjustments?
It's all about
the shoes, believe it or not. I mean,
or sandals.
It's only 20 degrees.
And that's how we go to commercial break. Sandals.
More to come. It is the Ravens Wrap Show on Comcast Sports TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio 92.5 The Beat.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carrie Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
Like 33rd Street was to Colt fans, Russell Street will become legendary for future generations of Raven fans. Not only is Russell Street the team's address on Sunday, it's now home to the website voted Baltimore's best 5 years in a row. You've known them as Ravens247.com for years, and now you'll love them as RussellStreetReport.com for many more. There's nothing else like it for Baltimore football fans. Trust me, RussellStreetReport.com. Baltimore's home for football 24/7.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.